This footage was published the past 11 of May 2026 by a senior advisor to Ukraine's Ministry of Defense, filmed over an active battlefield in a war zone, and the United States government has footage of what appears to be the same type of object from 2013, 12 years apart, 2 different militaries, 2 different continents, and this week, something changed on the Pentagon's official UFO website, quietly, without explanation. If you watch Tuesday's video on the Pentagon UFO release, this is the follow-up nobody saw coming. Everything in this video is sourced. The Ukrainian footage is from the official Telegram account of Serhii Beskrestnov, verified senior advisor to Ukraine's Ministry of Defense. The Pentagon comparison is from file DOWUAPR38, publicly available at war.gov/UFO. Let's go through it. Serhii Beskrestnov goes by the calcine Flash. He is one of Ukraine's leading drone and electronic warfare specialists, an advisor to the Ministry of Defense, not a civilian enthusiast, not an anonymous source, a credentialed government official with direct access to military data. On May 11, 2026, 4 days after the Pentagon's release, Beskrestnov published footage on his official Telegram channel. He described the video as filmed in May 2025 at 800 meters altitude during active combat operations. In the same post, he revealed something significant. In 2023, I published a video from the front line, in which aerial reconnaissance was observing an unidentified flying object. An hour later, I received a message from representatives of a government agency that has been dealing with these issues in Ukraine since Soviet times. Ukraine has a government UAP investigation program that has existed since the Soviet era, and the armed forces of Ukraine have created a comprehensive document on the subject. Approved by Commander-in-Chief Oleksandr Syrskyi, this is not a fringe investigation. It is military doctrine. The drone that filmed this object was a Ukrainian military FPV interceptor, operated during active combat operations. The telemetry data embedded in the footage tells a specific story. At the start of the flight, the battery was at maximum capacity. Total recorded flight time, 8 minutes and 5 seconds. By the end of the recording, the battery voltage had dropped to 12.14 volts, critically low. The current spiked to 95 amps, and the drone went down. Beskrestnov's analysis of this telemetry data suggests the object may have an active inhibition system, a jamming capability that disabled the drone's electronics the moment it came close enough. If that analysis is correct, this is not a passive, drifting anomaly. It is an active system that detected the drone and responded to it. There is a specific frame in the footage that deserves full attention. At one point, the object rotates, and its full lateral profile becomes visible. What you are looking at is a central glowing mass, with 6 symmetrical projections extending outward. The Ukrainian military has cataloged every known drone in Russian inventory: the Russian Orlan-10, the Zala, every FPV variant currently documented in the conflict. None of them have this morphology. The lateral profile of this object does not match any known aircraft in any military inventory. Return to full footage. Continue analysis. It also vents what appears to be a gas or vapor from the central mass. No known drone propulsion system produces this thermal signature. In Tuesday's video, I covered the Pentagon's release of 162 classified files. One of those files is designated DOWUAPR38. It is a 1-minute 46-second infrared video, recorded by a U.S. Central Command infrared platform operating over the Middle East. In 2013, The object in DOW UAPPR-38 is described as star-shaped, with multiple projecting elements from a central mass. Moving at speed. No visible conventional propulsion. The Ukrainian object has 6 projecting cones. The Pentagon file shows an 8-pointed object. They are not identical, but the fundamental morphology is the same. Central mass, symmetrical projections, anomalous heat signature, no visible conventional propulsion, 12 years apart, 2 different military platforms, 2 different continents. The most significant case in the entire Pentagon release involves 7 federal officers who separately reported seeing UAPs across several western states over 2 days in 2023. Witnesses described orbs launching smaller orbs. The All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office described it as among the most compelling within ARO's current holdings. That was filed in 2023. The Pentagon filmed UAPPR-38 in 2013. Ukraine filmed its object in 2025. These incidents are not isolated. And there is one more layer to this. Congress formally requested 46 recordings from the Department of War. The government has not released them. But filmmaker Jeremy Corbell obtained 8 of them for his documentary called Sleeping Dog. When members of Congress watched those 8 recordings in a classified briefing, according to multiple congressional sources, the room went completely silent. 38 recordings remain classified. Whatever is in them, the government has decided the public is not ready to see. Here is a detail that has been noted by researchers tracking the war.gov/UFO release. On May 8th, when the Pentagon published the 162 files, observers documented 17 pages of content on the website. Within days of the release, that number appeared to have changed to 16. This change has not been officially acknowledged or explained. We cannot confirm what was on that page. We cannot confirm when exactly it changed. What we can confirm is that the government said this was a complete release, and that something appears to have been modified after it went public. Whatever was on that page, it is currently not accessible to the public. There is a pattern that military analysts have documented for decades. UAP sightings cluster around military activity, nuclear facilities, test sites, active conflict zones. Ukraine is currently the most heavily monitored airspace on Earth. Since 2022, Ukraine has deployed thousands of military drones every single day. Multiple countries' radar systems track the same airspace simultaneously. Electronic warfare systems from NATO, Russia, and Ukraine are constantly active. More sensors, more coverage, more hours of monitoring per square kilometer than anywhere else in the world. And this pattern appears in U.S. military recordings too. Several of the Corbell recordings were filmed over the Persian Gulf and northern Iraq. In one, an object was tracked moving alongside U.S. Navy vessels at speeds faster than the ships, without leaving a wake in the water. No known watercraft can move at that speed without leaving a visible trail. Multiple recordings show what analysts describe as instantaneous acceleration. Objects that go from stationary to extreme speed in a single frame. The G-forces required would destroy any known aircraft or drone. If there are objects in that airspace that do not belong to any known military, Ukraine is currently the most likely place on Earth to detect them. Beskrestnov himself explained why Ukraine's military takes this seriously. The concept of UAPs could conceal new weapons from our enemies. The Ukrainian military is not investigating UAPs because they believe they are extraterrestrial. They are investigating them because an unidentified object that can jam military drones is a direct military threat, regardless of its origin. And that distinction matters. because it means the most rigorous, best-equipped UAP investigation currently active is being conducted by an army at war, with the most to lose if they get the answer wrong. 4 days after the Pentagon released 162 classified UFO files, Ukraine's Ministry of Defense advisor published footage of an object that shares the same fundamental morphology as what the US filmed in 2013. The drone that filmed it had a 95 amp current spike before it went down. The lateral profile of the object does not match any known aircraft, and something on the official government website changed after the release. None of this confirms extraterrestrial life. None of it confirms a cover-up. What it confirms is that multiple governments have been tracking the same types of objects across different continents for at least 12 years. And the more they release, the more questions appear. The next official Pentagon release is expected within the next few weeks. And Jeremy Corbell's Sleeping Dog documentary contains 38 more recordings that the government has not yet released. Whatever is in those 38 videos, we may not find out for a very long time. Subscribe to Untold Universe. We will cover every release as it happens. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And if you haven't watched Tuesday's video on the full Pentagon release, that's the context for everything you just saw. Link is on screen.